for watching Numbskull News, and today I'm going to talk about Big 12 viewership. I've always claimed that the Big 12 gets good ratings, and I think I have proof that it looks pretty good. It's not SEC good, it's not Big 10 good, but damn it, for what the Big 12 is, especially if you think about a down year supposedly that we had last year, the ratings are pretty good. There could be improvement. Of course, there could be improvement. But I compiled the list of what the 16 teams are going to look like next year. So this is the baseline. Let's see where things go after the season. But of course, this is a few months out. We're a few months out from the 2024 season kicking off. But this list is going to include the Arizona State, Colorado, and Utah. And I know they were in the Pac-12. I get it. But I want to see the kind of ratings they're bringing into the league, and then what the league itself last year got. So I put everybody in order, 1 through 16, and I also, to get the viewership numbers, I used the site Medium. I love this site. They make everything very easy to digest, which I do like. So that's where I got the viewership numbers, and it's the average viewership per week that each team got in 2023. So let's take a look. Well, right off the jump, what you're going to notice is Colorado, number 4 in the entire country with 4.5 million viewers, with a lousy 4-8 record. I mean, that is Deion Sanders. Now, I know a lot of people say, well, he's probably going to leave after next year when his kids go. Well, there's no proof of that. He hasn't said that. No one said that. This is conjecture, of course. I don't know how long Deion's going to stay. I have a feeling he's at least going to serve out his contract, maybe beyond that. People talk about the NFL. I don't see the NFL in his future. I don't see really a Big Ten or a SEC school in his future. I think he's going to be around a minute, but we'll find out. However long we have him, Deion equals ratings, and if he can get that thing on a winning basis, this is a sleeping giant. There's plenty of fans in Colorado. They own the state. Denver, Boulder, you name it. Colorado is the school of Colorado. So if this is what he's bringing with a 4-8 record, and look, even if he comes down a little bit, I'm assuming the Buffalo's overall television numbers will go down. I still expect them to be a top 10 team in the ratings next year. That's a huge boom for the Big 12. And right behind them, you talk about polarizing, Utah. Number 25 in the country with 1.53 million viewers a week, with an 8-5 record last year. And the reason I say polarizing, because their fans are polarizing. They can be cool or they can be buttheads. We all know this. You either love their fans or you hate them. I guess it just depends on who you're rooting for whatever week. But polarization equals viewership, and Colorado and Utah are the perfect examples of that. And they're going to be a welcome addition into the Big 12. We need the bad guy. Here comes the bad guy. TCU, third best ratings in the league last year with a 5-7 record. Number 28 overall in the country. They dipped a little bit. The year before that, I believe they were number 13. But, of course, that was the, run to the national title game. 1.42 million viewers a week. This has a lot to do with being in the DFW Metroplex. Now, Texas and Oklahoma are still the two biggest teams in DFW as far as overall viewership out of the Metroplex. But when you're talking teams that actually are, located in the Metroplex, TCU by far is the biggest brand. And they've earned it through a lot of winning, through a lot of different conferences, landing in the Big 12 and building that program. So, this is one, if you want to talk about top brands in the Big 12, TCU obviously is that. And let's talk about Kansas. 9-4 record, number 35 overall in the country with 1.24 million viewers per week. And then if you slide down a ways, Kansas State, number 52 in the country, the same record, 9-4, with 810,000 weekly viewers. This from Kansas State to me was surprising. They've been good the last several years. Last year they won the Big 12, and that's their viewership. That is disappointing to me. Now, I understand they suffered some losses or whatever, but come on. All right. If you ever wondered who the big dog of Kansas was, it is KU. This shows it without a shadow of a doubt. But we need Big 12 fans to watch some K-State football. Let's get those numbers up. They're going to be good next year. We need to be watching K-State and what they're doing. You probably noticed, dead ass last, this is alarming to me. Arizona, number 72 in the country, with a paltry 434,000 viewers a week, with a 10-3 record. What in the hell? Now, some of this you could say, well, that's the Pac-12 for you. They don't really watch each other's games. That may be some of that. Arizona has a long history of losing, but they had an extraordinary season last year. They lost their head coach, but I think they got a good head coach as far as a replacement goes. They got an exciting young quarterback. They were able to retain him, some weapons. They should still be one of the top teams in the Big 12 next year. That number, I fully expect that number, if nothing else, to double next year, at least. Because if Arizona is playing your team, you're going to be watching in the Big 12 because you know Arizona's good. Now, if you look one right above that, Baylor, number 70 overall, 454,000 viewers a week, 3-9 record. Now, I know they sucked. And your ratings are always going to dip when you suck. And I know they're in Waco. They're not in the Metroplex. They're not in Houston. They're not in any of that. But how in the hell does the Cincinnati Bearcats get better ratings? 5 spots above you nationally. And what is that? Damn near 30,000 more viewers a week. Same record. That is embarrassing. I know Cincinnati's a bigger town than Waco. I know that. But Baylor has worked their ass off. They have fans. They need to start watching the freaking games. It's this kind of crap why I'm not a big fan of bringing back Dave Aranda. If he turns that thing around and they're 9-3 next year, which I don't expect that at all, maybe those numbers they ought to jump up. But that to me really sucks and is another alarming team doing horrible in viewership. That's got to get turned around. And if you notice, Arizona State with a 3-9 record kicked to hell with what? Like 170,000 more viewers a week than freaking Arizona with a 10-3 record. I mean, I hate to keep coming back to Arizona. Arizona fans, you need to show up. Look, right now, I'm pretty happy overall with this. Because if you notice, half the league has over 1 million viewers a week. That's where the Big 12 teams need to be. We know you're not going to be at 4.5 million. All right. We don't all have Dion as the head coach. You know, but if you look at it with those 8 schools, I mean, Texas Tech is right there. I guarantee you they would have been over 1 million viewers. Their non-conference schedule, they shit the bed. And I think that killed their viewership right off the jump. UCF, look, number 60 in the country with a 6-7 record. They got to a bowl game, 621,000 weekly viewers coming out of the American. I think that's okay. I think that's okay. I think that's solid. If you look at who they're beating in the ratings, this thing has potential to launch. It really does. And with the quarterback they brought in this year, I wouldn't be shocked if they get pretty close to 1 million viewers next year, a week. That's going to be a good team. That's my sleeper next year is UCF. That's a sleeper waiting to happen. Let's slide up and talk about BYU for a minute. Number 36 overall in the country. 1.21 million viewers, 5-7 overall. All right, they missed bowl eligibility just barely, just like TCU did. But you know what? These fans support this team. They just do. I mean, not that far away from Utah, which is supposed to be the bigger school. But this fan base, I mean, look, a couple more wins, who knows where those ratings go? I'm not saying they get top 10 ratings, but these guys just, BYU fans are just supportive and loyal as hell. One of the best fan bases we brought into the Big 12 in a very, very long time. I just wanted to give them some flowers for that, considering the underperformance of, K-State, Tech, which Baylor. I know the record was bad with Baylor, but it sure as hell wasn't with K-State. Texas Tech was a little disappointing, but still had a good year. And that's, you couldn't break 1 million. That, I don't know. That bothers me. That bothers me. There's no excuse for that. BYU fans bring it. Some of these other guys, K-State fans, you got work to do. All right. Fans out there in Lubbock, you got work to do. Oklahoma State. I mean, you talk about Stillwater. That is not a market. But yet they brought 1.14 million viewers. Number 39 overall in the country. Out of Stillwater, that is more than respectable. And just one more thing I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about the Houston Cougars. They're in the middle section down there at the bottom. 63 overall in the country, 587,000 viewers with a 4-8 record. Coming out of the American and being 4-8, I can give that a pass. They are in Houston. This is a giant market. Those numbers have got to climb. Now they're going to have to win in Houston. All right, like TCU. TCU had to put together really good seasons, compelling seasons. They had to get to bowl games. They had to put in the work to get to where they are. So even with a 5-7 record, they're still at 1.4 million viewers a week. Houston has got some work to do. They got to put together some winners. They got to get to a bowl game next year. They got to grow. But that market is so much untapped potential for the Cougars. It's not even funny. But so there's a lot of light at the end of that tunnel. Again, I hate to harp on Baylor like this, but there's no way in hell they should be 3-9. There's no way in hell they should be number 70 overall in viewership on a weekly basis. They should be doing way better than that. So we got to get Baylor out of the doldrums. They got to get themselves out of the doldrums. So overall, my takeaways is, I think the Big 12 is doing pretty damn good in viewership. I think with the 4 schools coming in, there's a ton of potential. Dion is going to bring excitement and a shit ton of ratings with him. And I don't care if he's only there a year. Well, that's a hell of a boost for a year. And I have a feeling Colorado will continue to get good ratings. Maybe not number 4 overall in the country after Dion leaves, but I think they're back, people. I think the sleeping giant has awakened, and this is going to be one of the top ratings draws in the Big 12 moving forward, regardless of Dion. But 8 teams, over 1 million viewers a week. That ain't bad. That ain't bad at all for some shitty trailer park conference. Anyway, that's all I got on this crap, and I'll be back with some other crap later. Bye.